Absolutely. So thinking of today, staying on the speed networking theme, I thought we could try a speed coaching theme instead. Can everyone see me now? Hello. So normally, there's a few coaches here. If you're new to coaching, if you're experienced with coaching, you'll know that it's usually a deep dive into your personal, professional goals, values, beliefs, looking at obstacles to your progress. And so normally a typical coaching session would last at least an hour and could go on for a few months as you work through a particular challenge or want to accelerate your work or business in some way. So we're now going to sort of flip that on its head and do something in about 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes, let's just see how quick fire questions will come up with some new answers for you. So hold on to your hats. I will be giving you a link to the presentation after this session, and there'll be 2 downloadable workbooks that Mark will email out as well. So if you don't get any questions right now, don't worry too much, because you can work through it in your own time afterwards. But let's just see what comes up as we go through this. All right. So the outcomes from today, we want to get you some clarity on your goals for the next year, ideally, either in your personal life or your professional life, either or, pick any area that you want to work through today. And we want to identify your next steps that you want to take. So we're just going to focus down on it. And we're going to look at the actions that you're going to drive your results in the next 7 days. Okay, so as Mark said, I like to set a challenge and we like to be quick fire on this. So right before we jump in, I'm Sarah. I help ambitious professionals who are at a crossroads in their life and work, and I help them launch the next phase of their life. You can think of coaching like a personal trainer for your mind. We challenge your limits and we get you results. So before I established West End Coach, I spent the last 12 years in London climbing up the theatre ladder. I started interning on Jersey Boys at the Prince Edward Theatre, and I then moved on to general managing the Lehman Trilogy for the National Theatre, which moved to Piccadilly Theatre in 2018. So I currently live now in Nassau in the Bahamas. I've been here since November 2021, and I run my own coaching practice here virtually with plans to settle in California in the next year or 2. That's me. So just before we dive into the session, there's just a couple of things to know. As I said, it's going to be quite fast paced. I'm going to be firing some questions at you. So let's just see what comes up in the next sort of 10-15 minutes. Try and focus on these questions. So if you can remove any distraction, so if you've got any phones on, close the door, shoo the dog out of the room, just so you can really focus on your business, your creative work, or what you're trying to achieve from even the speed networking session, what your goals are there. Save any questions to the end, because we won't have time to answer them as we go through, but I'm happy to stay on even after this session and answer any questions anybody's got. And grab a pen, piece of paper, a tablet or something like that, so you can just jot down whatever comes up for you, because it could be quite exciting to think about it in a different way. So let's start from the top. I want to know where your destination is, what you are trying to work towards in your personal life or your professional career. So for this exercise, just describe your perfect scenario in a year's time. We're just going to bound it to a year's time for now. So this is going to be March 2024. What is it that you would like to be seeing around you? What are you hoping to be doing in a year's time? How's your business doing? How's your creative work? What does your typical day look like? Start thinking of just whatever comes to mind initially. And what new skills have you learned in that year? So are you planning on doing any courses, trainings, getting any qualifications? Is there a question that this burning question that you've always wanted to have an answer for? Could be something silly, it doesn't matter. What would you love to have learned by March 2024? And how would you describe your future self? So think about all the characteristics, the thoughts, the beliefs that you currently have now. What would you like to be able to say about yourself in a year's time? So what's happening to your confidence? How healthy are you? How focused are you? How calm or how motivated are you in a year's time? So a lot of the time when we're setting goals, we tend to focus on the outcome So I want the car, I want the house, I want to make the money, etc., etc. We don't really focus on the identity of the person that is going to go off and achieve those things. So if you want to run a successful marketing agency, for example, you might need to become someone who is really disciplined, who has a set morning routine, that is social media savvy, or that has a healthy money mindset. If you're going to be a freelancer, you might need to navigate the challenges of having inconsistent income. So you might need to work on the mindset around money. So think about the person that you want to be in a year's time, not just the outcomes that you want to see, because those two are going to work in tandem together. So hopefully you've got some ideas of where you want to be. Obviously, the clearer, the better. And that's what we're going to do next. We just need to focus on something. So what I'd love you to do next is just take those notes and try and write them down into one clear sentence. And it will start, and it will be in the present tense, sorry. This is a good way of tricking the brain into thinking you're already doing it, rather than thinking, oh, one day I will do this. It separates you. What you want to do is align where you are now with where you want to be. So in March 2024, I am creating amazing art. I am signed up to this university course. I am running my successful agency. Be as clear as you can. So it almost becomes something, you know, it is that goal. Okay. So it's as clear as you can. You can stick it on a post-it note, put it on your fridge, tattoo it to your forehead, whatever you need to just get really, really clear. Because everything you do between now and then is going to be working towards this version of yourself and version of your work. So the next step is you've got to imagine that this goal, you're not there yet, of course. This sits on this other side of this beautiful river, okay? And between where you are now on this side of the riverbank to the other side, there are a series of little stepping stones, some little milestones. And each of these stepping stones are components of your one-year goal. And they must be completed before you can be on the other side and say, hey, I'm this confident, successful business person. So each of these things are probably going to take a few weeks to a few months to materialize. They're not just a quick to-do list item. These are things like something you might need to learn. So a course you might need to go on, or a certification that you need to undertake. You might need to build a relationship or a friendship with somebody that you could ask that can help you get to where you want to be. And obviously this call, this speed networking session is great because already we're hearing people that might have fantastic connections with each other. So who on this call might be able to help you get there? Have that in the back of your mind. What equipment might you need to hire? So if you want to set up your photography studio, you're into fine art photography, what equipment might you need in order to reach your goals as a photographer in a year's time? Who might you need to hire? Your staff as well. Do you need a virtual assistant? Do you need some copywriting help? Do you need some marketing support? Some brand development workshops? Mark, what do you need to hire? What equipment do you need to buy? What's going on there to help you get to the other side? And what might you need to create? So is there any artwork you need to create in order for you to sell your work in a year's time? Do you need a website? Do you need to create a CV? Do you need to overhaul your LinkedIn profile? New branding, portfolio, what does that look like? Create a show? If you want to be a producer in a year's time, what do you need to create? So there should be lots of different elements or little components, little stepping stone goals in order for you to stand there in a year's time, phone me up and go, shit, Sarah, my life's completely changed. It's amazing. I'm doing all this cool stuff. Now, what we're not going to do is we're not going to order them. Because if we order them, then you might be learning things along the way and realize actually you want to go in a totally different direction and it's a total waste of time. We're just going to focus on the first step. That's what coaching is. We optimize those results. We look at the first step ahead of you. Okay. So which of these little stepping stones which of these mini goals is going to get you, it's going to make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time. So again, we're optimizing your results. We want quick results, short amount of time. We want to make sure that what you're doing, your focus, your energy is going into the right area. We're not getting distracted with all things that might feel good, might feel nice and comfortable, but are not actually going to drive yourself forwards to becoming this new person, having this new thing. So is this going to be something you're going to learn? Is this going to be something you're going to create? Is it going to be something, is it going to be somebody you're going to ask? Or is it going to be some equipment or some staff that you can hire? What's it going to be? What is the thing that is going to drive you forward in the next few weeks? Just circle it, just highlight it, it's quite clear. And then this, everybody, becomes your 7-day acceleration challenge. Okay, so now we sort of know what area we need to focus on in the next few weeks. What actions are going to really maximize your results in the next 7 days? So Thursday next week, what will you have achieved to just accelerate your work forwards? And get out your diary and put in the dates and the times of when you're going to take those actions. So if we just say we're going to do, we're going to do some LinkedIn posts next week, fine, it may not happen. So let's get it in your diary, commit to doing it at the time that you're going to say that you're going to do it, so you can start building trust with yourself as well. And if you want to, you can share it with us, pop it in the chat, or you can commit to telling the next person on your speed networking conversation so they can also hold you accountable. We're all here, we all want you to win. We all want you to drive your life, your business forwards in some way, so you can start seeing those results. And so hopefully now, I don't know quite how long I was talking for, but we've got to a point where you now have some actions that you can take in the next 7 days. And obviously you can DM me on LinkedIn, commit to it. I can follow up with you just to make sure that you've done it. So there we go. That's it, Mark. Hopefully, I don't know, did that work for you? You got some actions for the next 7 days?
Yeah, I've written mine down. Thank you so much, Sarah. That's brilliant. I'm going to, there we go. I can see everyone. I hope a round of applause for Sarah, please. A ripple of, there you go, I've got that recorded, which is fantastic. That was great. What we'll do, I think, is if you've got any questions for Sarah, we normally have an after party at 2 o'clock for those who don't have a 2 p.m. meeting. And it normally lasts for about 15 or 20 minutes. And Sarah's going to kindly stay on for that. So if you've got any questions about that, then do please linger after 2 o'clock. So thank you, Sarah. That was wonderful. Thank you so much.